It is 8 p.m. and winter weather makes a return to Colorado, bringing snow and some slick roads with it.
And I actually just came from Alaska, and this is colder than it was up there.
Storms putting a damper on high school graduations as many ceremonies get moved indoors.
I graduated in Colorado in a snowstorm. I can say that my whole life now.
While others make the most of the dreary conditions.
It's definitely a memorable experience.
Plus, too close for comfort.
Having to drop your kid off right across the street, it's not comfortable.
Homeless encampments popping up outside a Denver elementary school, and some parents say it's crossing the line.
I don't feel comfortable taking that chance right next to the school.
Hey, good evening to you, and thank you so much for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Ann Trujillo.
I'm Danny New. First comes the snow, and then you know the drill. Icy conditions causing issues for communities in the mountains as well as across the Front Range tonight.
So we have live team coverage for you on this Denver 7 Weather Action Day. CB Cotton's in Castle Pines with a look at the road conditions there. Rob Harris is in Denver where the storm is creating some chaos for graduation ceremonies.
But first, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson in the Denver 7 Weather Center. Mike, the storm's weird timing is creating a mess all throughout Colorado.
Through most of the state, although extreme southwest Colorado would be glad to get this kind of moisture that we're seeing currently up in Boulder. Looking at the trees here, they don't seem to be in too bad a shape right now, although they're in full leaf. Temperatures are still 63 down at Durango and 68 degrees at Alamosa. So they're on the other side of that front. They're not getting all that cold. We're 47 degrees colder in Denver right now than we were 24 hours ago. There's the front. And to the north of it, we have the snow. Elevations generally above about 5,500 feet. Lower than that, it is mixed with some rain. We still have warnings galore, including a fire weather warning that still lingers for the southwest. Winter storm warnings in the Denver area, freeze warnings on the plains northeast and northwest, in between a winter weather advisory in the mountains. Here are the bands of snow. They're still coming through fairly strong, although we're seeing some lessening of the snow farther north up near the Wyoming border. Heavy snow, mountains, foothills overnight, especially from Denver south. Freezing temperatures and a wet and chilly weekend coming up. Plus, it'll be slow to get back to warm weather next week. I'll have more details in the 7-day in about 10 minutes. Now we go to CB Cotton, who has more on the road conditions south of Denver and Castle Pines. CB, how's it looking down there?
Well, Mike, if people have been watching Denver 7 News through the evening, I've been talking a lot about on and off conditions. Earlier this afternoon, there was a lull. We weren't seeing too much precipitation. Now you can probably see these big white flakes falling from the sky, making for some accumulation in my hair and here on the ground too. If I step, you can see there's probably at least an inch in some areas. And we know this snowfall is going to continue through the night. Some hours there's more precipitation, other hours there's less. And drivers, they're taking it all in stride, handling it and assessing the road conditions as they come hour by hour. Snowfall stealthily making its way into Colorado's springtime. But ask any Coloradan, and they're not too surprised.
I mean, that's Colorado. Like, we this is us. You got to be prepared for, like, anything. Yeah, 90 degrees, snowing today.
Temps did reach 90 degrees on Thursday, a sharp contrast to the late May snowstorm that arrived on Friday, a storm that could drop up to 2 feet of snow and some parts of the northern Front Range over the weekend. But down south in Castle Pines, accumulation is expected to be less. Still, drivers had to tackle near whiteout conditions in the early afternoon.
Coming up 25 was only about 100 yards of vision. It's coming down so fast and so hard.
Well, it was wet and real wet, not icy, and the visibility was very poor. And I went from Castle Pines out to Parker.
For Consuelo Reyes, the roadways became so tricky, she decided to stop driving all at once.
I actually pulled off and took a nap for a little bit, and then I woke up and visibility was much better. So we're just gonna see how it goes.
Taking it one stretch at a time will remain her motto as she makes her way farther south.
Take my time, leave space. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I still have to get to Alamosa, so there's like 3 more hours pretty much for me.
Others just grateful they don't have to go too far this weekend.
We live in the mountains, this is nothing.
And some excited for what could be Colorado's last snowfall before the summer months.
Pues a mí me gusta muchísimo.
This man telling us he's enjoying the weather, but we all know no Coloradan is taken too off guard by a late snow. Looking out here at I-25, you can see there are some travelers out here, but really if you can stay home in this wintry weather, that's probably best because there are definitely some slick spots, and it's important to be mindful in these conditions that the unexpected can always happen. And these conditions are not only impacting traffic and people's commutes, they're also impacting high school graduations, many of them having to make last-minute changes to accommodate for this blast of winter that we have this May, including Columbine High School. And that's where we find Denver 7's Rob Harris. Rob, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so CB, Columbine seniors, they were supposed to be crossing the stage at Red Rocks tonight, and they were hoping for a sunny Colorado spring day to do that rather. Obviously that didn't happen. So school leadership at the last minute decided to move it to Denver Coliseum indoors, and that's actually what's happening right behind me as we speak. Now, I talked to some Columbine seniors about this, see how they felt about it. They were disappointed. Quite a few of them told me that they had been dreaming of a Red Rocks graduation ceremony on a beautiful Colorado spring day for a long time. That didn't end up being the case. But they did say that they've learned to be resilient over the past few years because COVID has changed so much of their high school experiences. So really, they're just thankful to be at an in-person ceremony, period.
It's always been a dream, like graduating at Red Rocks. It's just such a pretty place, but I think just being able to be here and like dressing up, being nice, and not having to worry about cold weather.
Our families still get to come, and like we all still get to be here as like one big class. We've dealt with a lot already in high school, and we're kind of used to it at this point, but obviously we're sad about it, but we're glad that we could just graduate in general.
Let's go! Let's go! So, yeah, as you can see, the grads don't seem to be too heartbroken about all of this. And Columbine is hardly alone here at having to change their plans at the last minute. Chatfield had to move its graduation from Red Rocks to the Coliseum as well. And many others have had to either move indoors to a school gym or even push it back a day to accommodate with this weather. So a lot of plans on the fly as these high school seniors get ready to graduate and move on. We have a full list of the announcements we've gotten from schools up at thedenverchannel.com. And Danny?
So glad they're having fun out there.
Yeah.
Big night. All right, thanks, Rob. And for the very latest on this May storm, you can always visit our website anytime, thedenverchannel.com.
And you can also get the latest forecast for your neighborhood on the free Denver 7 Plus app. It is available to download right now on your streaming device. I have mine on my Roku. Very useful. Well, some local parents have reached out to Denver 7 concerned about a homeless encampment popping up near their children's elementary school.
Denver 7's Patrick Perez spoke to some of those parents at Polaris Elementary School in 5 Points.
Yeah, one father told him that the people moved in across the school in just the past week, and already the city's taking action.
This is what Kieran Schweidel sees daily on his way to work near downtown Denver, tent after tent.
We're just starting to clean it up now.
It's no longer shocking to him, but seeing it across his son's school is.
Having to drop your kid off right across the street, you know, it's not comfortable.
Kieran says he first noticed the tents at the beginning of the week. We counted at least 3 of them stationed directly across an entrance to Polaris Elementary School, where his 7-year-old son attends the 2nd grade. In a video he took Thursday, there was even someone sleeping on the school lawn.
Why choose right here? And if you think you put it down, you look out, you're like, oh wait, there's a school. Maybe I should just pick my tent up and move 2 blocks.
Kieran expressed his concerns about the encampment's proximity to the school's administrators. They were already aware, he says, and had reached out to the city. That's when he learned the encampment had been given a 7-day notice.
Mental health and homelessness often go hand in hand. That's a chance that could be taken outside the city. I don't feel comfortable taking that chance right next to the school.
A community member who did not want to be identified was quick to point out not everyone feels the way Kieran does.
Your belongings are with this person. I'm a community member. I just brought some food, warm clothes, and hand warmers for them.
Okay.
This is absolutely, please know that this is not how the community feels.
In a statement to Denver 7, Denver Public Schools says, while we are optimistic that the people here will be good neighbors, school officials have shared concerns about trash, drug paraphernalia, and human waste on a playground and sidewalks students use to get to and from the school. We are working with the community to address these issues. And those issues are being addressed as soon as next week. A spokesperson with Denver's Department of Transportation says a large-scale cleanup is scheduled for Tuesday.
I mean, it's a school. Like, that's all I'm talking about.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
A wet and white start to the weekend. I'll let you know how much more snow is going to fall overnight.
From evictions to bankruptcy, families on a budget can't often afford the luxury of legal help.
You need a lawyer, and we don't have the resources to provide them.
As legal aid groups struggle to keep up with demand, Coloradans are falling between the justice gap.
I was like, wow, like my whole life is going to change right now.
Plus, one local elementary school makes a touching tessellation as a tribute to their community.
It's just amazing that we get to share it with everyone and they can share it with other people.